Hello everybody, hope all you are keeping well. So yesterday there was an incomplete lecture for you people. I just could explain the superolateral surface of the cerebrum. The medial surface also I explained the whole thing, but while uploading it got deleted. So once again I am again in front of you to explain the medial surface of the cerebrum. Yesterday we have seen the various sulci, gyri, got it along the parietal lobe, along the frontal lobe, along the occipital and the temporal lobe. Hope you have gone through the lecture and you have understood. I have tried to simplify as much as I can so that it becomes easy for you to recollect whatever is being taught to you. So now today the medial surface of the cerebrum. So first of all I will draw the diagram of the medial surface and then I will explain you the details. So this is the medial surface of the cerebrum. Got it? This is the medial surface of the cerebrum, and how to identify this medial surface of the cerebrum? By the presence of the corpus callosum. Got it? You will identify the medial surface of the cerebrum by the presence of the corpus callosum. So the corpus callosum consists of the rostrum. Got it? The rostrum, then the curved portion to the genu, the trunk of the corpus callosum, and the spleen. Isn't it? Okay. So this is how looks the corpus callosum, isn't it? So this corpus callosum is present over here in the middle of the medial surface of the cerebrum. So this is the rostrum. This is the genu. What it genu means a bend. That's why it is called as genu. This is the trunk of the corpus callosum and here is the splenium. Got it? Here is the splenium. Okay? This corpus callosum continues down. Okay? This portion. Okay? This splenium down over here is called as the fornix. Got it? This portion down is called as the fornix, and below the fornix is situated the thalamus. Okay, so this is the thalamus. So why I am telling you all these things? Because further as we proceed with the other topics, all these structures are interrelated with each other. Okay, for the relations. So we have the corpus callosum. In the center, I will take a separate topic on corpus callosum, but at present remember rostrum, genu, trunk and the spleen. Okay, this is the corpus callosum. This corpus callosum over here, below the corpus callosum, here there is presence of the septum pellucidum. Got it? Pellucidum. Got it? Over here, this is a layer, a thin membrane. Got it? Which is covering the lateral ventricle. When you remove this septum pellucidum, the cavity which you see over here inside, the cavity which you see inside is the lateral ventricle. Got it? The cavity which you see inside. Huh? This is the lateral ventricle. Okay? Okay? Now, surrounding this corpus callosum, okay, surrounding this corpus callosum, there is presence of a sulcus. Now here I am drawing it with red. Okay, there is presence of a sulcus, and this sulcus is called as the callosal sulcus. Got it? This is called as the callosal sulcus. The name itself will make you identify it because the callosal sulcus surrounding the corpus callosum. Got it? The callosal sulcus surrounding the corpus callosum. So this is the callosal sulcus. Got it? This is the callosal sulcus. So surrounding the corpus callosum is present the callosal sulcus. Okay? Then above this callosal sulcus is present a gyrus. Got it? That's why I'm drawing it zigzag, so that you can identify. Got it? This zigzag structure which you see is called as the cingulate gyrus. Got it? This is called as the cingulate gyrus. Got it? So there is a gyrus present above the callosal sulcus, and this is the cingulate gyrus. Above the cingulate gyrus, again there is another sulcus which is present. Got it? There is another sulcus which is present, and this is called as the cingulate sulcus. So we have the corpus callosum, we have the callosal sulcus, we have the cingulate gyrus, and we have the cingulate sulcus. Okay? We have the corpus callosum, the callosal sulcus, the cingulate gyrus, and the cingulate sulcus. Okay? Now this empty portion which is remaining. Okay? We draw an imaginary line to separate it from the occipital and temporal. Okay? We separate it from the occipital and the temporal lobe. Now this portion which is present over here, okay, over here up to the center. Over here there are the gyri present. Okay, these are the gyri present, and this is called as the medial frontal. Got it? This is called as the medial frontal gyrus. Got it? So this portion which you see over here is the medial frontal gyrus. Okay? This is the medial frontal gyrus. Then over here you have a U-shaped gyrus. Got it? Over here you have a U-shaped gyrus. Okay? This is called as the paracentral lobule. Got it? This is called as the paracentral lobule. So you have the medial frontal gyrus, you have the paracentral lobule. Then you have a quadrangular shaped gyrus. Got it? You have a quadrangular shaped gyrus. This is called as precuneus. Got it? It is called as the precuneus, and a triangular shaped gyrus present over here below the precuneus. This is called as the cuneus. Got it? This is called as the cuneus. So you have the medial frontal lobe, you have the paracentral lobule, you have the precuneus and the cuneus. Okay? So to repeat again, the medial surface of the cerebrum. The two hemispheres are joined together by the corpus callosum. The corpus callosum consists of the rostrum, the genu, the trunk, and the spleen. Got it? Below that is present the fornix. Okay? Below the fornix is present the thalamus. Got it? Below the fornix is present the thalamus. Below this is below the trunk of the corpus callosum, there is presence of a covering. Got it? This covering is called as the septum pellucidum. Got it? It is called as the septum pellucidum. When you remove this septum, this septum pellucidum separates the right lateral ventricle from the left lateral ventricle. So it is a covering. Okay? It separates the right lateral ventricle from the left lateral ventricle. When you remove the septum pellucidum, inside you will see a cavity, an irregular shaped cavity. This is called as the lateral ventricle. Got it? This is called as the lateral ventricle. So this is about the corpus callosum. This corpus callosum is surrounded by a sulcus. You see this red portion which I have drawn over here surrounding the corpus callosum is the callosal sulcus. Then surrounding the callosal sulcus there is presence of a gyrus. Got it? Surrounding this callosal sulcus is present the gyrus. This gyrus is called as the cingulate gyrus. Got it? It is called as the cingulate gyrus. And surrounding the cingulate gyrus, there is another sulcus which is present, and this sulcus is called as the cingulate sulcus. Got it? This is called as the cingulate sulcus. Okay? Now the remaining portion of the medial surface. So this big portion over here in the front, got it? This big portion in the front is called as the medial frontal gyrus. Got it? This is the gyri which is present in the frontal part of the medial surface of the cerebral hemisphere. This is the medial frontal gyrus. Then in the center, got it? In the center there is a U-shaped gyrus which is called as the paracentral lobule. Got it? It is called as the paracentral lobule. Then behind the paracentral lobule there is a quadrangular shaped gyrus which is called as the precuneus. Got it? Quadrangular shaped gyrus which is called as precuneus. And below the precuneus there is a triangular shaped gyrus which is called as the cuneus. So you have the medial frontal gyrus, the paracentral lobule, the precuneus and the cuneus. The medial frontal gyrus, the paracentral lobule, the precuneus and the cuneus. So this is all. These are the structures which are seen on the medial surface. Now remaining is the occipital lobe and the temporal lobe. Remaining is the occipital lobe and the temporal lobe. In the occipital lobe, there is one sulcus which is present. In the occipital lobe, there is one sulcus which is present, and this is called as the Calcarine sulcus. Got it? This is called as the Calcarine sulcus. Okay? There is one sulcus present in the occipital lobe, and this is called as the Calcarine sulcus. Okay? Now remaining is the temporal lobe. The temporal lobe consists of two sulci and two gyri. The two sulci are the collateral sulcus and you have the collateral sulcus and you have the occipitotemporal sulcus. So the upper one, the superior one is called as the collateral sulcus and the inferior one is called as the occipitotemporal sulcus. Got it? So you have the collateral sulcus and the occipitotemporal sulcus. Yesterday what I told you was on the superolateral surface of the temporal region. Okay? Now this what I am talking is the sulci which are present around the medial surface. So you have the two sulci, the collateral sulcus and the occipitotemporal sulcus. These two sulci separate three gyri. Got it? These two sulci separate three gyri. So the first one, the uppermost gyrus is the parahippocampal gyrus. Parahippocampal gyrus. This you must have studied in physiology. The importance of this parahippocampal gyrus. Okay? Then you have the medial occipitotemporal gyrus and you have the lateral occipitotemporal gyrus. So medial occipitotemporal gyrus, lateral occipitotemporal gyrus. Got it? This is collateral sulcus and this is the occipitotemporal sulcus. Okay? So you have this collateral sulcus and the occipitotemporal sulcus. Okay? Dividing the three gyri. The three gyri are the parahippocampal gyrus. Got it? You have the parahippocampal gyrus, you have the medial occipitotemporal gyrus and you have the lateral occipitotemporal gyrus. Okay? You have the parahippocampal gyrus, medial occipitotemporal gyrus and the lateral occipitotemporal gyrus. So I will revise it last, the whole thing. The medial surface of the cerebrum, the two cerebral hemispheres are joined together by the corpus callosum. The different parts of the corpus callosum, this is the anterior part, this is the posterior part. Okay? Okay, this is the superior part, this is the inferior part, this is the temporal part, this is the occipital part. Okay, this is the frontal part and this is the parietal part. Okay, now this medial surface, okay, the two surfaces of the cerebral hemispheres are connected with each other by the corpus callosum. So there are various numerous fibers which are crossing from one cerebral hemisphere to the other, and this is how the two cerebral hemispheres are connected. The two cerebral hemispheres are connected. So you have the corpus callosum. The parts of the corpus callosum, here I am just mentioning the parts of the corpus callosum. You have the rostrum, you have the genu, you have the trunk, and you have the spleen. Got it? So these are the parts of the corpus callosum. This lower portion, this extension, is the fornix, and below the fornix is present the halens. This is the fornix, this is the halens. Okay? Then below the trunk, got it? It is covered by a layer. There is a thin shield which separates the right lateral ventricle from the left lateral ventricle, and when you cut open, the covering is removed, and you can visualize the lateral ventricle. So this lateral ventricle is an irregular space which is present within the concavity of the corpus callosum. Surrounding the corpus callosum is present the callosal sulcus. Surrounding the callosal sulcus is the cingulate gyrus. Surrounding the cingulate gyrus is the cingulate sulcus. Okay? In the frontal part, you have the medial frontal gyrus. In the center, you have the paracentral lobule. In the posterior part, you have the precuneus, which is quadrangular in shape, and the triangular portion, which is called as the cuneus. The occipital lobe consists of one sulcus called as the calcarine sulcus. Got it? It consists of the calcarine sulcus. And the temporal lobe, got it? The temporal lobe along the medial surface of the cerebrum consists of two sulci. The collateral sulcus and the occipitotemporal sulcus. The collateral sulcus and the occipitotemporal sulcus, which divides the three gyri. And these three gyri are the superiormost gyrus is called as the parahippocampal gyrus. That is this. Got it? It is called as the parahippocampal gyrus. The middle one is the medial occipitotemporal gyrus, and the lowest one is the lateral occipitotemporal gyrus. Got it? So you have the parahippocampal gyrus, the medial occipitotemporal gyrus, and the lateral occipitotemporal gyrus. So this is all about the medial surface of the cerebrum. Got it? So these are the sulci and gyri and the structures that are present along the medial surface of the cerebrum. Now yesterday I taught you about the superolateral surface, isn't it? I taught you about the superolateral surface. I just forgot to mention some important point in the superolateral surface. Got it? Along the inferolateral sulcus. Got it? Along the inferolateral sulcus, there are three gyri which are present. Got it? Three very prominent gyri which are present, and those gyri, they are very important because they carry lot of functions. So I will just draw and I will show it to you. Okay? So you have the superolateral surface of the brain. This is the lateral sulcus. Got it? This is the lateral sulcus. This is the frontal lobe. This is the parietal lobe, isn't it? This is the occipital lobe, and this is the temporal lobe. Okay? And we mentioned about the central sulcus, the precentral gyrus, the precentral sulcus. Okay? Many things which we talked, isn't it? So now over here along the inferolateral border, or you can say the lateral sulcus, there are three important gyrus which are present. One is round, one is triangular, and one is irregular in shape. Got it? One is round, one is triangular, one is irregular in shape. Got it? So these important things. So the first one, which lies in the frontal part, this is called as pars orbitalis. Got it? This is called as the pars orbitalis. Got it? It is the pars orbitalis. This is pars triangularis. Got it? This is pars triangularis. And the third one is called as the pars opercularis. Got it? So you have the three important gyrus which are present along the lateral surface, the lateral margin of the superolateral surface of the cerebrum. Okay, so you have the pars orbitalis, the pars triangularis, and the pars opercularis. Okay, the pars orbitalis, the pars triangularis, and pars orbitalis, pars triangularis, and pars opercularis. So these three things you have to include in the superolateral surface. Okay, pars orbitalis, pars triangularis, pars opercularis. Okay, you have to include this into the superolateral surface, which I forgot to mention while teaching the superolateral surface. Now the importance of this cerebrum is, in exams sometimes they may ask you the superolateral surface. Okay, now I have to talk to you about the various areas that are present over here, and which I will be talking to you separately because it is a very vast topic and we have to talk it in details. Okay, then the next thing is, in this cerebrum you are supposed to know from viva point of view, and from your practice point of view this is very important, because every gyrus has got so much of fibers in it which connects the two hemispheres, which connects the various sensations, the motor, the sensory, isn't it? Somatic, efferent, efferent, isn't it? So there are so many connections, and a pinpoint lesion can also lead to drastic disturbance in the day-to-day activity of the human being. So that's why you have to be very careful while treating the patient with central nervous disorder. Okay, so this is in exams, orals, yes, they will definitely ask you, because there is a separate table for soft parts consisting of head, neck, brain. At the most you can talk about cerebellum, you can talk about cerebrum. So cerebrum, it looks difficult but it is very simple, isn't it? And 5 marks short note is asked on corpus callosum, isn't it? 5 marks short note is asked for corpus callosum, which I will take it separately with all its relation. Today what I talk to you is just the medial surface. Just for your information, you should not get confused. So that's why I mentioned all these things. Okay, so have a nice day. Take care.